Hello and welcome to my learning project. I am Jeanette Pena. I'm the youngest of four girls. I love hanging out with friends and my partner. I am currently a fourth year college student at Whittier College and my major is psychology. A little bit about me. I love music and I love fashion clothing. One of my fashion icons is Bella Hadid. I also love to read and write poetry. I also spend a lot of my time watching Disney Plus and Netflix when I should be doing homework. I am a LACMA member, so I frequently visit LACMA and other Los Angeles museums like the Getty. My partner and I enjoy going to museums as our date night. As for my career, like many other seniors, I'm not sure what I want to do. I know I want to do something within my major, psychology, but I'm not sure just yet.
Now let's discuss how I felt going into this project. I did not feel at ease if I'm 100% being honest. I felt kind of nervous due to me not being very artistic and being skilled with needles or with my hands. Now, as many of you have asked yourselves, if I'm not very skilled with my hands, why did I choose crocheting? To be honest, cute clothes. But most importantly, I have great friends who love to crochet and are very skillful and make beautiful pieces of work, and I wanted to also learn how to make beautiful pieces of work like them. For my starting point, I had to borrow some of Issa's crochet hooks and yarn to learn how to crochet. I began with learning how to create a knot, and then she taught me how to chain. Struggling to learn how to knot and chain, Isa helped me create a rectangle. I would have not been able to create it without her. Initial reaction to my baseline was not bad. I did have trouble and had to Google how to hold hooks because I felt very uncomfortable holding hooks. It took me a second to become comfortable. Where do I go from here? I have to now master chaining and adding rows to focus on. Initially, I met with Isa to discuss my learning objectives. We decided that being able to knot and stitch would be my first one, with the sub-objectives of slip knot, chain and stitch, single crochet. Secondly, be able to create at least 2 rows with the sub-objectives of create counting knots and practice increasing and decreasing, as well as the objectives of work in the round and change colors. Later on added sew and ends with the sub-objective of thread and needle. After further thought, I decided to take out change colors and work in the round. I realized I might not be able to accomplish these goals. For my final learning objectives, I decided they will be able to knot and stitch, be able to create at least 2 rows. I included work in the round, sewn ends, and have one final project. Now let's discuss how I came up with these learning objectives. I asked myself, what can I accomplish by the end of this learning project? Now let's talk about my coaches. This is my coach, Isa. She is the one who will be teaching me how to crochet and taught me my baselines. My other coach will be YouTube. YouTube is a great learning source. I will be idolizing for my learning project. I think the best part of my coaches is the range and patience. Isa is incredibly patient and is incredibly helpful, and the range of knowledge she has, as well as YouTube offers, is really helpful and amazing. The thing that was surprising and hard for me was the handwork. My hands cramped out a lot and it would hurt to crochet sometimes, so I would have to take breaks. If I had to change anything about this project, I would change the time. I learned one pattern which was changing in one semester. Let's discuss how I initially measure my success. As shown above, I now realize that I put myself in very high expectations that obviously could have not been met. Let's discuss my flaws in this approach. My flaws were expectations. I had extremely high expectations for myself from the beginning for no reason. I obviously could not crochet 20 chains in 20 seconds. So how could this be more effective? I later on decided to decrease the amount of what I was expecting in that time period. Now let's discuss my midway point. As you can see here, I'm a little bit more confident and independent with my crocheting. I am now able to crochet 2 rows and create longer chains and rows. So it's been a little bit better. As you can see here, this one, I am having a little bit of a structural issue where my top is a lot bigger than my bottom. I later on fixed it, so it's not that big of a problem anymore. Goals I met in my midway point are being able to add rows and creating a knot. What needs work is adding rows, straight rows, and handwork. Now that I've mastered adding rows, I will now work on having a finished product. Now let's discuss what is my academic motivation at this point. My academic motivation at this point is grades and cute clothes. The biggest struggle during this project was staying motivated. In Candy Potato Increase Your Productivity, it discusses a new technique of studying. It states that 25 minutes of work with a 5-minute break and with 25 more minutes of work could help increase productivity. As you can see as above, the way to be most productive is to set a task to-do list with a 25-minute work period, record your progress, take a short break, get back to work, and take another break after those. I think this is a very valuable lesson for me to learn, seeing that I often spend hours sitting on one computer, forcing myself to do work, and then finally taking time for myself afterwards. Now, let's discuss what I learned about myself. What I most importantly learned about myself is how I learn. I am an English language learner, so I often gave up in my education very quickly because I believed no one cared and why try. Finally, to my final project. For my final project, I decided to follow this YouTube video of how to crochet a coaster, where I crocheted my boyfriend a coaster, and here are some clips of me crocheting and the finished product. Now that I finished with my final project, I now have to surprise my boyfriend with it. Here's his reaction.
Your eyes are closed?
Yes.
Can you put your hands in front of you? Open.
Sick. You made these?
Yeah, I did. What are your thoughts?
They're cool. That's pretty good. That's like a nice little square. And you got a good little circle. Nice. Could be like a koozie. Thank you.
I'm so glad that he liked everything that he liked. I'm very happy with all that I've accomplished and been able to crochet. Here's a few pictures of everything I've crocheted since starting my project and now. to the big and most important question that we are all thinking about. Did I meet all my goals and learning objectives? Yes, I did. I'm so happy I did. What did I learn about yarn? So, besides learning how to crochet, I also learned a lot about yarn that I was using. I learned that the yarn on my left, as you can see here, is better quality and easier to work with versus yarn on my right that was more ripped, bubble, and a little harder to work with. Now that I've learned how to crochet a little bit, I want to learn to create tops and so many other things. Here are just a few pictures of all the tops and all the other things I want to crochet, like coasters and chokers and bags and beanies and just so many great things. I've also included a lot of the links of the videos I want to learn in the references, as you can see.